it's interesting because when I put out that first album, we didn't have a reference point. There was no, and when I mean a reference point, not even a, just, let's just be superficial. There were no even brown skinned black girls that wanted to look black and show their heritage or where they're from and look naturally who they are out either. I mean, who was out? Who was out like, yeah, I'm black and I like looking black. Like, oh yeah, I'll just keep my hair like the way it naturally comes out. Or, and no, nothing against people who have their hair straight, because 2 years before my album dropped, I had my hair straight too. Like, that was just the style I wore. But there was no reference points for physically how I looked or visually. There's no reference point for the style of music, for the way we did it. You know, even business-wise, we were like, no, I'm only gonna perform if I have a band. I'm not doing me and a DAT or me and a tape and shucking and jiving out there like to a tape, you know? It's like, this is real music. We need to show the people who are really playing it. You know, early on, we had a lot of influential people a part of the band. We had, you know, I had, you know, a player from Fishbone, a founding member of Fishbone. You know, Fish was my drummer as well, you know, and they just got back together, and Fish is back in the band now. And so that's really incredible. And people didn't know they didn't know what to do with it in the urban department at my label. And I think it's because they felt like they needed to do something. Sometimes you don't need to do anything but release it and let people see it and hear it and give people the opportunity to decide. But that's not how it works all the time. But now, I'm not even mad. Like, I like that I was the only one at that time as well. It's like, I did what, you know, it was very authentic. It's how I do. And it was very different than what everybody else did. And sometimes some people are like, they carry that weight, they carry that work. That was my work, you know, to be the forerunner, you know, but I didn't do it alone. I had a team of people like that were very influential and important, from not only just like the producer, you know, but the management, you know. My manager was telling my producer to all right, you're done on the song's done, stop working on it. You know, it wasn't just like a songwriter, you know. We had Santa Gold writing all the music virtually, you know, minus like a couple of songs that I co-wrote. I think, you know, songwriting is important. And, you know, for me, I learned a lot during that record, because that was my first time doing a record ever. That was my first time really, besides my demo, recording music. And the demo had 6 songs on it, and 6 of those songs went on the album, but they sound a lot different. But in general, I think the way music is going now, I'm really proud of it. Like, you know, the genres that, I mean, we have a lot of trash, you know, we have a lot of junk out there, but as far as stuff that's comparable to what I do, I'm really proud of it. Like, I'm proud of, like, you know, the Chance the rappers that are like doing more, like Solange is the, you know, and the fact that she has like all those great artists underneath her. People are just, I like the fact that, you know, girls are comfortable being tomboys and do their art, that they're just not trying to be like super sexualized all the time, you know, and that people switch it up. Because when I first came out, it was like, if you're a girl, you need to look like what a man thinks a girl should, or a woman should look like, and do that, you know, and no matter how great your music is, you know. And a lot of artists that have, you know, alternative lifestyles, they had issues, you know. It was like a battle of, you know, do I let people know that, you know, I have this alternative lifestyle or not? All these things have changed, you know, or they're on their way to changing. And I feel like I have something to do with it. You know, I don't live an alternative lifestyle, but I feel like a lot of people that do embrace my music, and a lot of people that don't embrace my music. So it made them have to come together. Like, I would go to my shows and it looked like a Prince concert, because it was that diverse, you know. You know, I wasn't doing the Staples Center, it looked like a Prince concert. Just meaning, you know, the type of people that were there. I think now we're also more open to different styles of music, and to women of color doing different styles of music effortlessly and convincingly and being supported. And that was a big struggle for me. I mean, I had one of the leading men in the, you know, music industry say to me that, yeah, you know, love your voice, yeah, you're on some Stevie Nicks vibe, it's incredible, blah, 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 but basically it's gonna cost more money for us to convince the masses that what you're doing and singing, because it's not straight ahead urban music, that it's real. You know, they were like, it's just because that's how the world is, you know? But I felt at the time that it was that particular person's prejudices that I had to settle with, you know? And that's what I didn't like about it. That was my one thing in my past, as far as my history is in the music industry, like that thing I didn't like, you know? Like, it's like, give me a chance. Don't let your prejudice stop me when everybody on your team wants me to win, you know? But that's how it goes. So, but now there's other ways you can get around that. You know, you can put your music out independently. You know, there's support for it. There's places to kind of do it on your own. So I feel like I'm a part of that, like the people that helped people get to that point, you know? And then there's people before me, like I said, Fishbone, like they passed the torch to me. I feel like I passed it and I'm passing it to other people, like constantly. Well, if I could talk to the younger Reese, like the 20-something, early 20s Reese who was putting out How I Do right now, I would probably tell her the only thing, because I wouldn't change a thing, I'm gonna be honest, like I lived, you know what I mean? I had fun, I woke up every day. I had a great manager at the time, and he basically, I think is a big part of the reason why I have no regrets, pretty much. Corey Smith is the manager at the time who gave me that great advice. He said, wake up and be creative every day. He works with Vince Staples right now, and like Dave Chappelle and all those guys. And he's a good guy, you know? Corey Smith, Blacksmith, but Smith with a Y. You gotta know that. Shout out. He told me, wake up and be creative every day. That's your job. He's like, you signed a record deal, you got money, you got a house, like you're good. Wake up every day and be creative. And I did that, you know? And I shopped a lot. I woke up every day and shopped, I'm gonna be honest, but I did the creative part too. And we were super young. It was great because we would walk into these places, into like record companies and stuff, and like he had the Russell Simmons vibe. So he's like, I'm from Harlem. Like he was a Morehouse graduate, you know, dark skin Harlem dude, you know, waves in his hair. And I would always be like, you look like Usher. We would get in car services and they pick me up and they'd be like, oh, is there an artist here? And I'm like, yeah, he's a great singer, kind of like Usher. And they would like burn him. He'd be like, I'm not a singer, it's you, stop. But we would roll up in the spot like looking pretty young, you know? He just had the whole Russell Simmons vibe and I thought it was cool, you know? I was like, oh, I like my manager, he's cool. And I met him at a party and he was behind the DJ booth looking through records, trying to tell the DJ what to play. And I'm like, that's where I'm always at a party. And so I was like, yeah, he should be my manager. And this is really what sealed it for him. He knew that he had to manage me because the next day after that party where I was like, oh, he's in the DJ booth all the time, like that's my manager. He was like, can you sing, you know, are you gonna sing me a song or whatever? Like, how do you sing me a song? And the first song that I sang was, I was like, well, this song I'm really into right now, it's an old song, but he's like, sing it. And it was his mother's favorite song. And it was called Trust in Me by Etta James. And he was like, you have no idea. When you sang that song, I was like, this is meant to be. Who goes to like kind of an audition to meet someone and you sing their mother's favorite song? So, you know, that was like, that's history. You gotta do it. Destiny. But I think the only thing is I would have taken songwriting more seriously. Like I would have actually like, you know, took the time to actually make that a part of my creative process every day, because I came into the picture like, I'm a singer. I sing. I love to sing. And I like to perform. And they kept trying to push me to write songs and I was like, oh, like that's the work part. That doesn't come natural. But I wish I did, and I wish I started maybe playing guitar then. But other than that, the decisions I made, who I was around, how much I partied, how much I spent, how much I didn't spend, all the vacations, all the people I sent on vacation. My sister went to like Cancun like 5 times, like the first year I got signed. Like her and her friends were like, we're going again. I'm like, okay, have fun, you know? Like all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna change it. Like I tell myself, you're about to have an amazing time. If anything, like go further, like be worse than you think you could ever be, you know? No regrets.